Hey, gang! How's it going? How is everyone? Well, hey, I I want to start by saying good evening to all of you. Hello, hello. Let's peel this off. I ain't showed no tattoos in a while. Looking ass. So there is a silver lining. Um, Benny, were you in Prayer Gardens back chat earlier today? No, I was not. I had pressing business looking at. I guess Jody Sue was for real about going to YouTube. I don't know what you mean there, Mr. Belazoe. How's everybody doing? Ooh, take it off. Ooh, so, wait. Um, gang, Brad. Please, let's look at God bless. Hey, Debbie Z. Thank you, beautiful. With her, I'm concerned about her safety as well as financial. You love me. No, you're right. Now there is the standard issue complications that come from a breadwinner going to jail. This situation is not. I repeat, it's not exempt of that. I think that it's pretty easy to see. Um, 11 months, 29 days. That's let me tell you, like that's the minimum. So he's still, still got some love, right? He owes them folks 24 months. He still owes them folks 2 years, and you dig? They're like, bring a year of that back, and then you'll still owe us one, but you can do that one on the outside. And this is the deal: if you break the law, you have to pay the consequence, right? Now, I don't know what the what the and I was talking with the saying, I don't know what the situation with the I don't know what the situation with the credit time there, the good time. Like here in Dallas, it's called 3 for 1. So for every day you serve, you get credit for 3 days. So essentially, um, you could do you could work 30 days. You could make that straight with 10 days in. Now I don't think that Tennessee or Hawkins County has that issue, but it's still it's a for profit bail system. So that's sort of what you start looking at. I don't know if somebody wants to look up. Hell yeah, Pendar. Shit. I made it back to the street so many fucking times because of that law right there. Like, and then I'm trustee status too. Like I'm built-in trustee. Like I got to do something wrong in order to, like, even when I'm out here, I'm still trustee status. As soon as I go to jail, I wake up the next day and I'm going to work. So, Don will have the ability to get some resources. Um, Unfortunately, there was many things all coupled together. Hey, Savage. Hey, beautiful. Um, there was a few things all coupled together, and not just a few. many, 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 many things all coupled together that sort of were just catalysts working against each other or for each other. And you guys know I'm all about due process. That's what I'm here for, right? With the due process, you guys know it's a broken record with the due process. Um, with that due process, it's that due process leaves a door open for people like the Ramsey family or for people like the Wells family and everything in between. Since it seems like we really want to put the Wells on the bottom end of the people standard. Um, so no one's exempt, right? I'm not going to speak to the dynamics of his potential early release, as I don't know. I've not spoken with Don. I've spoken with the people that were with Don at court, but that don't mean nothing, right? That doesn't mean nothing. I will tell you this, that um, I do believe that if Don gets on track, he gets his affairs organized and he starts tracking them down one at a time, I do believe that there's the real potential that Don could get an early release. Um, there again, I don't know about the the Ford credit. I don't know that situation there. They may only get Sunday's credit. I don't know. Um, so, yeah, I mean, Snow White. In theory, we're entitled to our opinions, up and until they affect the case in real life. When you can say something or do something on YouTube and then it butterfly effect back to the real source of the situation, like that's when our opinion we ought to keep it to ourselves. Um, you know, and this is, I guess, sort of where the rubber meets the road in terms of Benny displaying what it's really about. And the reason why I waited a little while to come online today was like, because I had to get my thoughts in order. I'm like, man, hold on. These folks, if I don't say something, they're gonna come and they're gonna say, "Oh, Benny, he's not saying nothing because he lost." This isn't a win or lose. This isn't a win or lose situation. This is a family, and there's gonna be wins and there's gonna be losses, just like in every family, right? Every family has the wins and the losses issue. Hell, I gotta turn this off for and hold. I will open it back up. That shit is like really. I can't even see me, and I gotta see me to stay. Um, so if rehab or working a program that has a deadline, so to speak, in the facility, if that's what they want him to do, then the sooner he does it, the better. Now, if it's a 180-day program, um, You know, I mean, it's a 180-day program. It just is a 180-day program. Now, as far as where the rubber meets the road, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, "Oh, look, Benny's turned on Don." No, Benny hasn't turned on Don. Benny's not. Benny's not forgot about Don. Don is just incarcerated for a DUI and a probation violation, both of which have nothing to do separately, only work together in this situation to give you these results, right? Typically, one without the other, Don, you know what I'm saying? Don, it'd be a different scenario. So, um, in terms of professionalism, I explained to Don, I said, listen, if they decide that they want to violate you, um, there's really no recourse, right? Especially no recourse if you haven't, before the violation, tried to do the things, like get you a receipt for a detox, get you an AA and an NA sheet, and start going and start getting the chairperson to sign the sheets. Like, come in loaded with some work that shows that you've done some work, and of course, in Don's situation, there wasn't enough hours in the day for him to work all those hours. And, like, it just was a situation that wasn't set up necessarily for a win either way. And when I mean a win, I mean a win in terms of what's going to be, hold on, what's going to be beneficial for reunification, right? That's what all of this is about. It's about ultimately all these services, CPS included. The mission statement for CPS is family reunification, at all costs, except to the detriment physically or emotionally to the child. So, there's, you know a lot of things, quite naturally, that we can all sort of sit back and imagine that we know will become issues or situations that that will need attention. You've got the current custody issue with the children. Don not being present for that. I couldn't tell you one way or another how that may or may not affect things. I just don't know. Hold on one second. Yeah, Kaz, maybe it was. Maybe it was a play for the land. I couldn't say. I won't say because I don't know. Um, I do believe that there were many, many, many family dynamics that were going on prior to the emergence of the scenario so that we could all interact with it. Um, there were many things going on, and I think that the ones those of us who support the idea and the right of due process and innocence before guilt, um, we're not shocked. Can I say that without hurting anyone's feelings? Even though I'm a I'm a due process supporter, which automatically means that I support the Wells, right? Like, can I tell you I'm not surprised Don is in jail today? I'm not. I feel like, I don't feel like I failed Don. I feel like Don failed himself. And so, with that being said, like, right, like, I have no culpability in Don's situation. I don't hold any water there. I don't hold any weight. I only tried to appeal to Don to try to assist him to be transformative in his own life. And I don't feel that I failed him. I feel that, I guess saying that he failed himself is really a slippery slope because, someone that may potentially lack certain coping mechanisms and skills, how can you really say they failed themselves? I don't know, right? I'm not here to buy Mr. Wells any real estate back in terms of a DUI or a weapons possession, right? Like, those things prefaced all of it. Not even prefaced, they just, chronologically happened before any of our involvement. And so, there's always those, the extracurricular, right? It's like I told Don the same things in terms of the stuff with Utah in those in that situation. I'm like, bro, like for me, they're separate. And a lot of people will be like, no, Benny, they're not separate. Actually, they are separate. They're separate in terms of thinking like a boy and thinking, and being boy aged, and then thinking like a man, right? you know, it's this is that scenario. Um, that ain't this and this ain't that, right? Like people are like, oh no, it's completely connected. Well, I tell you what, Hawkins County, TBI, FBI, I assure you that that means nothing to them right now. Now, if later on that stuff develops and it turns into something, then um, you know, then potentially it'll be added to, Don's official profile. But until up to and until that happens, 40-year-old SAs are not, they don't hold any weight on this case. Now, do I have an opinion as to if they should or they shouldn't? I don't have an opinion on that. I don't have an opinion that I'm willing to render publicly, not because it's not the opinion you would want to hear or not. It's just that it's my own opinion. And I wouldn't want my own opinion to conflict with what anybody thinks about the current situation that's gonna navigate, right? Like, um, it's there's also those unfortunate times when those times where somebody else knows what's better for you than you do. And that was also what I explained to Don. And I said, Don, these people, like it or not, they're educated, they're certified, and they're specialists. Um, and they're specialists on how not how to punish people. When you're young and you're dumb and you're still making mistakes, you hate the probation officer because you think he's someone who took that job specifically to lock you up in jail. That's not it. That's not it at all. Um, Even the most cutthroat probation officer could be the best friend or the best resource to one of his parolees or probationers. If you're immersed in the system and you believe there's just no other alternative other than success, even the toughest probation or parole officer means nothing. You're going to use them as a fulcrum to get ahead. You're going to take advantage of being in the stream of doing the right thing. You know, um, my plight with Mr. Wells was certainly his probation because just appearing intoxicated online in a video that could come across the phone or a device of the probation officer or the probation department in Hawkins County would have been and may have been problematic for Don. So there's certain people, and this isn't me taking up for Doug. There's a lot of people here today, and maybe in the upcoming days, they're going to be upset with Doug because they're going to say, "Oh, well, he was on the phone with Doug, or Doug got him locked up." Let me tell you what, Doug didn't get him locked up. Don got him locked up. Now, Doug may have added to the pressures. We're just got to keep it real here, like real human beings, right? Doug and others, even myself, may have added to the issues that employed Don to drink. But only Don made the decision to get in the car and drive. Doug didn't make him do that. Um, so it's just the situation is what it is. It seems rigid, but I assure you that it's flexible. It's flexible. But guess what? You got to want it. You got to work the work to get the result. And I hate to say it, but if Don couldn't get the help that he needed in order to remain sober to continue the plight for his children, sometimes you got to go through something that's crazy uncomfortable to come out squeaky clean on the other side. Kind of like the Shawshank Redemption, right? To crawl through 1,000 yards of shit pipe to come up squeaky clean on the other side, right? So you have to go through the war, whatever that is. And the other thing is that when you self-appoint yourself to a conflict or a war, it's now your responsibility. It's no one else's responsibility, right? What Don is going through is Don's responsibility. No one can work the program for Don. No one can make Don, like if Don doesn't want to do the program, then he does 11 months in 29 days. If Don wants to work the program, there's a benefit to working the program, and it's an early release half the time. That's like for every day served, you get credit for 2. I mean, that's a no brainer. You're already oppressed by the jail. What's what's going to be? I mean, you mean that you're in jail, but it's going to be hell to be in the program in jail? No, there's going to be privileges that come from Don working that program. I don't know what they are, but they're always there. There's incentive. I don't know. Again, I don't know what that could be. It could be, a free phone call schedule or something that's going to be beneficial to Don, right? Maybe it's a diet change, or I don't know. There will be privileges to Don working that program. He's going to be set aside differently. I don't know if they do the rehab right there in the jail. They might be moving him somewhere. I mean, he may go to a therapeutic community. I don't know what's going to happen. But what I'm going to tell you is that he has options. He's not stuck. He's in jail, but he's not stuck. He still has lateral movement forward, and I mean, he can stay stuck where he's at, or he can use every day to work towards the last day. And he actually has control of the last day. That last day could be real close to Summer's next birthday next year, or it could be by the summer. It's his choice, right? It's completely Don's choice. No one else's. No one else has the ability to unmotivate or motivate Don at this point. When he was on the outside, I believe that many of us felt the responsibility to try to keep Don constantly on a positive stream of motivation, right? Like trying to steer him and steer him. And then it's like, you know, once you've steered him into bed, or you're fighting to steer him away from the whiskey, whatever it is. But one didn't beget the other. We came in, and the situation, it melded, it changed, it morphed. And then we did start getting control over things like pressure and shaming them and anxiety. But again, no one made Mr. Wells get behind the wheel and drive drunk. He did that himself. So I mean, I wish him the best. Nothing changes. Um, I'm here for you and your daughter and your boys and your wife. Totally am. We're just separated by, we're separated by the system right now. But, I really want everyone to keep down in your prayers, right? I know many of us have, and many of us don't need to be reminded that that's what we should do, right? Um, I hold on. Hello. Oh, were you? Cool. Oh, no, 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 no. I figured something was going on. I was like, she doesn't never send me to the voicemail, so it's something important. Well, I'm on a live. Do you want to say anything or no? You good? How you doing right now? Yeah, but you're gonna make it, right? Fucking A, you're gonna make it. That's it. We'll try to figure it out, right? We'll get something figured out, right? It's yeah, one day at a time. Even if it's 1 hour at a time, just gotta make it through to the next hour or the next minute. And yeah, I believe that I told Donnie that it seems like this is going to be the most darkest time, but you got to know that you have to welcome the dark times because you immediately know the sun is going to shine after that. And so I want you to hold on to the fact that the sun is going to shine, right? It's gonna you can't keep the sun from shining forever. So yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that you've got a lot of women and a lot of gentlemen in this community that are really concerned for you now, and I will talk privately, but it's got to really, really, really do the right thing because it's just us now, no Donnie, so yeah, we can't be inviting different things into our purpose that's going to be. Hell yeah, you do. Shit, that's the shit I want to hear right there, beautiful. You have to. That's just it. So, um, we'll figure it out. Let me get through this, and then I'll call you when I'm through. All right. Okay. Yo, 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 yo. We're not gonna be talking like that over here. Holy shit. What the hell? No way, Jose. Fuck you talking about. Anyway, so good night team strategy. Whoever just said that shit. um, Side note: there is a young gentleman from Hempstead, New York, which is going to be in the Long Island part of the world. His name is Omar Saint Hill. Omar Saint Hill. You can go look at my community section. Anyhow, he went missing 2 years ago, and they have had a crazy, terrible, hard time getting any sort of support from the Long Island police, which comes on the cuff of major, major, major administrative changes in Long Island. And I want the St. Hill family to understand that I understand that. They have a systemic issue stemming all the way back from the Long Island serial killer days. They had a chief that was put out with some, I mean, just crazy business going on in Long Island. And um, HBO documentaries, they actually grabbed up the story and they made just a small expose, and so tomorrow I'm going to have Mr. Omar St. Hill's brother and his sister, who are being spokespersons um, for the family. Um, we also, I believe, are going to fire up a petition that's going to be something abrasive towards Long Island Police Department. The Long Island Police Department promised this family that they would come and take a DNA sample to enter into CODIS in the event that Omar's body came through the morgue or was whatever. They've not done that. So at this point, the Long Island Police Department, the excuse they have is that they felt the full brunt of COVID. Um, so yeah, that's it. Thank you, Chasing. Um, yeah, once they're hidden, you don't need to time them out. And you know what? This is just um, it's part of it, right? Look at this, right? It's just part of it. Um, I don't know what fuels. Love you, Candy. I don't know what fuels people to feel like there was a win today. A family lost. A man lost. It was undignified. It was not graceful, but nonetheless, you don't stop doing what you're doing. You don't stop the awareness. You don't stop helping just because Don goes to jail, right? You're not saying, okay, well, we're done with Summer Wells now. Her dad, he has a probation violation. That's not what is happening. It's not what's happening. So, back to the Omar St. Hill thing. Omar in Long Island, they marginalize and they infringe socioeconomic there. They do. And the the lesser deemed socioeconomic in Long Island area gets a subpar, substandard response and resource from the police. This is my own research. I've done much research accidentally about Long Island police before I even knew about Mr. St. Hill's situation. Um, there is a long, tumultuous history of corruption and ill dealings in the Long Island Police Department. So that this Mrs. the beautiful Miss Trisha from Web Sleuth, she says, "Hey Benny, do you have any info I can share about Don or Candace? I want to stop the flow of misinformation, even if it's just a bit at a time. Please do not give me anything if you feel uncomfortable. I would not say where." See, she's an awesome woman. She wants to help. Due process. So there's going to be many uncertainties. Let me say really quick. I don't. Hey Shannon, I can't. It won't let me pin nothing here on the phone. That's only on the restream I can pin something. Um, if you guys, I know you're working overtime right now, and I'm not gonna. It's getting insane. I'm gonna jump off. I'm not gonna put y'all through having to not be able to pay attention because you're reading and trying to save the chat. Like it ain't even worth all that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, you can. You know what I'm saying? Like just let them go. Just let them say what they want. Yeah, I mean, if they feel like they got a win today, there's a bigger problem. And it's not Don and his violation. It's personally specific to that individual's existence. Um, so Let me. Oops, sorry. I wasn't trying to put the meat in your life. Um, Sorry about that. Real shit. I just stood up and kind of seen the angle. I'm like, damn. Uh, no one's perfect. So I tell you, I want to preface this before I say, not that, not that Candace even thinks for a moment that receiving any help from the online community, she knows she takes a dollar. People are going to say she's exploiting the community or exploiting the situation. And what I'm going to tell you is that if there were ever a time, there's the sound. Sorry. Thank you, Chasing. Um, Want to create a scenario that's, can maybe, definitely help. Hold on. There we go. Create a scenario that could help with you know, some of the medial bills, even if I have to help out of my own financial situation. But there's just going to be a little buffer time where, until Candace gets a more permanent situation figured out financially, I'm gonna do what I can to help. You know. Um, Thank you, Shanti. I would ask everyone to just sort of, I want to create a situation where we can be ultra helpful. Whereas, I don't know, maybe it's a situation I need to speak with Fizzle or, I don't, Chasing, I don't know. But now comes a scenario where I do want to get involved with some finance stuff. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like or how it's going to look, but the object is not to just dump a bunch of money on the situation. I'm not trying to just say let's just dump a bunch of money on the situation and enable something else to happen. What I'm saying is that I want to create a scenario where we can help with the electric bill. We can help with, it's just Candace now. So help with some groceries. I'm not saying we need to raise billboard money. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just enough to get her by. Okay? I'm ready to take on the responsibility of being under the microscope for trying to help her, because this is the crunch time. This is clutch time, right? So I do believe you can prepay utility bills, and that's one of the things I'm going to look into. I could probably get the information online, but I want to sort of try to foster an environment where Candace doesn't have to worry during this clutch time. Like, she can focus on finding herself some sort of employment. I don't know what that's going to look like, and we're going to have to talk about it. We'll talk about it, and that's just where I'm at. Like, I'm not worried about Don. Don's safe, right? Don's safe. This isn't Don's first time in jail. This is so far Don's last time in jail. So Don knows what to do. It'd be like spinning me up and dropping me down in that jail too. I'm gonna figure a way. I'm gonna find a way.
I'm gonna get a hustle. I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna sleep good. You know, and I'm gonna do my time easy, right? That's what you know what I want for Don, right? But in the meanwhile, now the scenario with the car, you know that scenario isn't, unfortunately, the Subaru. That's not a scenario that I personally can get involved in. I'll tell you why, because it's a finance issue, it's a credit issue, and in terms of, I mean, she has a vehicle. She has other vehicles that won't cost anything to drive. Um, so, what my focus on for her is the staples, right? It's the staples. It's food, essentials, you know, heat, things of that nature. So, I don't, I don't even know what kind of, equity is in the Subaru or any of that jazz. So I don't know anything about that. But the Subaru, it's not going to take the Subaru to survive in life. So to let that go back or to whatever is would be the first thing that I would suggest. It's an expense that is going to make it impossible to try to balance everything, right? So if you remove the Subaru ride, Candy, it's going to be pretty uneventful to help you keep the food pantry or the pantry fooded, keep the lights on, stuff like that. So, um, you know, that's really summer rain. Food is easy. Electrical will be easy. Cash app, gang, 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 gang. Can I ask? Hey, Heather, my Heather Bear, I love you, sweetie. I want to ask that you hold on right now. Hold up. From. Thank you so much, Heather. Uh, I will accept Heather's because that's my sister from another mister. But we've got to figure out something. We've got to figure out, or I've got to figure out, I'm going to figure out a process of, I'm going to try to, we'll get some credit. She's got a cell phone bill. She'll need some regular essentials and, probably some fuel money to get, to job appointments or whatever, but this is a situation that Candace hasn't been in before, and that we all need to appreciate the ones that were here to support from the beginning. She needs more support now. I hate to say it. It is what it is, right? It wasn't a scenario that Don was able to leave a bunch of money to Candace, right? Like, it just wasn't. Look at all the bullshit Don had to put up with to try to get his money in the last few months. Like, it wasn't like that, right? Like, good, Candy. She said the Subaru is the last thing she's worried about. So that's a beautiful thing. That gets rid of any expectation that, it's very unfortunate. But she has other vehicles. We can keep her fed. We can keep her lights on. We can help keep motivating her to do the next right thing. And the next right thing is always going to be great for the boys. So yeah, Donald Duck, man, I saw your situation, and I tell you what, that was fatally tragic. Like, I am so sorry. I heard what she told you to go do to me. Like, it was just like, holy cow. Yes, you're right, Rose. We can get her headed towards the food stamp situation. Um, there's going to be other things. I'm sure she can qualify for TANF or whatever they call it. So, um, we will. Other phone fizzle. Brandy, I don't know. Like we'll have to figure it out. You know, um, 180 days the minimum. So there you go. It's gonna have to do 180 days. It sounds like. Sweet faces. We'll figure it out. Like I don't know. Like there's the situation changed, right? So the boys are her main thing. She says. Yep, they're her main thing. So whatever we've got to do to get that aligned to where the boys, can come home as quickly as possible, right? So, again, I the title. I am excited for Mr. Wells. I'm excited that he's gonna have time to work on himself, and I'm excited that Candy's gonna have time to work on herself. I hate that they can't do it and coexist like this right now, but it is what it is, right? It just is what it is. So I fucked up situation. That's what it is. Yes, ma'am. Gotcha. So that's sort of what's on my plate. That's what's on Candace's plate. We've also got Omar St. Hill. That's the Omar St. Hill is. Please go check out my community tab. Tomorrow we will have Omar's sister and brother on, and we will be going over location, time of departure, all the details we need in order to start, building a scenario for Mr. St. Hill, whether it be trying to acquire, some sort of EquiSearch stuff, get some dogs on the case, get some pressure with a petition for the Long Island police, and really try to remove that. They've pushed Omar into the fringes and into the margins, and it's not fair. He ought not stay there, because Long Island police say that they're feeling the brunt of the COVID pandemic. With the connotation of the HBO documentary, there also was just a little bit of feeling that because Omar was an African American man, that his case could be set aside, and that other cases, run. That his case, run into a brick wall. So, it is a frustrating situation with Mr. Omar St. Hill, seeing as starting this, we're almost 2 years behind the ball. But that's, on the plus side, that the 2 years on the ball has given, it's given time for, hopefully the blessing to develop that we haven't found yet. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So I would ask that everyone keep Candy in your prayers, please. I also would say that let's spread the love. And how we spread the love is if we go somewhere and we see somebody just tearing up anyone. Say, hey, man, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Like, let me tell you what, I'm certainly not going to be involved in scamming a community for a few $100s a month that I can pay myself. So if this becomes an issue where people are like, oh, Benny's scamming, like, I will pay for it myself. Whatever I got to do to make that work. But man, like, I'm going to give her some support. I don't care what the hell anybody thinks, right? So, and what I would ask is that we can, in order to keep it easy, if you want to donate, man, you can reach right out to Hawkins County Electric or Utilities or whatever. There's things that you can do separate of me or anyone else in the community. Like if you really want to do it, pay it forward, right? Like go ahead and call in and put $50 on the electric or whatever, right? You don't have to run it through. I'm not saying run it through me. I would prefer that you do it yourself and that I didn't have to touch the money. But if it just so happens to have to be that way, it's just more work, right? Because I'm like my name don't pop up in no scam and shit, hasn't yet. So yeah, we can donate food. There's a lot of things that we can do to alleviate the pressure of ourselves being called scammers, right? And still do the right thing. Shit. That's the thing, Shauna. To be very blunt, I mean, Candy, I love her. I'm being truthful. Candy doesn't know about budgeting. Candy does not know about budgeting. I would say that Don wasn't, Don just was better than her in budgeting only because he had experience. Candace doesn't have experience managing money. She knows how to manage, mama bear stuff, right? Like those things. But as far as money is concerned, man, I don't want to add anything to the mix that's going to create a detriment, right? So if we can make sure, you know what I'm saying? Like it, you guys, I don't have to preface all this BS, right? But shit, man, I'm not trying to dump a bunch of money on Candace that's going to, make things more difficult for her. I think that the less difficult thing to do is to try to take care of some of these things to assist her so as she can worry about the really important things. And that is, yeah, she had a job. Thank you, Izzy. She had a job. Now she's looking for another one. And, I know, and we all know how God works. God is going to reach out in this scenario and he's going to put his finger into the recipe. And when he does it, I guarantee it's going to be a beautiful thing for Candace. I don't know if someone's going to pop out and offer her a job or, I don't know what could happen. God is so great. God is so great. Right? So, with God being great and Don now in a place where, he can't refuse help. I mean, and I'm not laughing. I'm just laughing so that I don't cry about it, right? Like no one wants nobody to go to jail unless it's, we all say that. Oh, we wouldn't wish that on our worst enemy, that kind of stuff. Like, no, I wouldn't. But my scenario is different when it comes to alcohol because of my sister. So, I have a special feeling about, let me tell you what, I'm a little bit jealous of Don right now. Let me just say that. Like, I'm a little bit jealous of Don because Don, he gets to stay alive and go to jail and then do rehab and come out and have enough time to process all of that and come out and keep some real sobriety. Guess what? My sister, she didn't have that option. You want to know how many times in the past 4 years me and my family have wished and prayed for a DUI for my sister? Because she wouldn't have fucking killed herself. She was in jail or been forced, like Don, to take some fucking good help. So, yeah. Mr. Tim just made a very good point. He said Don has been in jail with the YouTube. Don has sort of been released from the YouTube into the jail, and I assure you his life is less complicated. I assure you. Candace is a survivor. She's going to carve out a way. She has us to help her. Right? So, this is actually probably a very positive turn for the situation, right? If I hate that Don has been put on an island away from all of this, but I mean, what better time? What better time? You get out. Hopefully your daughter will be home. The boys will be home, and you can come home, and you would have had some good sobriety time. And when you come home, you'll have enough room between you and the substances to make good decisions now. Did you catch that? I don't know why I agree, but strangely I do. Strangely I do. So, that's what's on my mind. Omar St. Hill, his disappearance 2 years ago from Long Island, and Candace Bly in summer, right? And really, I guess right now it's Candace, right? Because to this point, during this live, I've done all I could do for summer. I've done all I can do for summer. All I can do is shift my focus and try to be useful to her mother. You're welcome, Tracy. Yeah, we're gonna really we are gonna turn some heads for Omar St. Hills people. This man been left wherever he's at, been left and not looked for by the police. These people, this family has begged and pleaded to get help finding their loved one. And the Long Island Police Department has been less than helpful. So we are definitely going to raise some awareness for Mr. St. Hill. And at the same time, I got you. Actually, Don made a very long statement before going to jail. And it'll be posted here in the next day or so. I think that everyone should be on the lookout for that. I think that, what we really need to do, we've already ironed that out, right? We just change the aim a little bit, I don't know. It's not going to be the worst thing we ever went through. It's not going to be the worst thing she ever went through. She's going to survive it. Don's going to survive it, and hopefully they'll be better for the wear. I guess that's pretty much everything I wanted to unpack. I don't really have too much more, or anything rather, actually, that I feel like. Am I missing something, Fizzle? Benny, can we help Don also with commissary? Yes, you can. Along with Candy, absolutely. That's part of it, Don will need some support too, for certain things. Certain other things will be given to him. So, yes, G-Dog, I am excited also about seeing Don get sorted. And you know what? Don's not a dumb guy. He just looks like a dumb guy when he's drinking and fucked up. So, Don knows how to work his way through all of this, right? Love you all, even if you hate me. I don't hate you, Weedleby. How do we send money for Don? I'm guessing that you're going to go to Hawkins County, and I'm sure that they've got an inmate look up. Yeah, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Chasing, you're absolutely right. It'll be fine. Look up the Hawkins County website. I don't know what they use out there. It might be JPay. Out here they use the Fox. They use the Fox for sending money to the Fed pin too. So there's gonna be different ways you can send money in there. Yeah. Just be careful, right? Like that's a play too. That's a hustle. So, um, yeah. For him, he's gonna have a limit. So don't think that you've got to send him a bunch either, right? Like I can sort of let people know or make an announcement, that his pantry's running low if someone wants to help out. But he's gonna be limited in how much he can spend a week because they don't let you just buy up the whole store and then become a run your own store, right? They don't like when inmates buy enough stuff to run their own store. They want you to buy the shit from them. When you got enough stuff to be political, then all of a sudden you're a problem, or it creates problems. So, it is what it is. He won't like the food. Man, guess what? He ain't going to be drinking. And so once his appetite comes back around, man, that dude is... guess what? Survival incarcerated is all about getting more calories. That's it. You might draw on an envelope so that you could sell that to get money to buy more victuals. It's all about putting more in your stomach. More. That's the only commerce there, right? Like you've got a few other commerces, but really that's the commerce. Like the whole economy in jail is to eat good, right? So, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of mechanisms. Yeah, Teresa, that's what the whole economy is, right? Like you go to jail and you sit around and you're being, more active, and they have a basic state required caloric intake. But when you're coming off of the shit and you're, this, that, or the third, and you're working in the prison or you're working out, you're doing whatever, you're moving around, like you need more calories. And so, that lick is always to, I seen cats so desperate coming off that dope, they eat out the garbage. You know what I'm saying? The shit that people throw away, they'll be at the end of the line picking it up, So, you just got to do what you got to do. But Don's going to be all right. Don's going to be all right. Be able to get really, really in touch with his creator and, his sobriety. Two things that go hand in hand no matter what. Thank you, Tracy. You're welcome, love. That Candace is going to be fine, man. Candace is a strong woman. She's a survivor. She's going to be all right. Don't you worry about that. It's the best place for him now. This daily BS was horrible, and he wasn't able to just walk away from it. Man, you are so right. Absolutely right. There's going to be a peace for Don Wells that's going to come from him being there that he will at some point appreciate. Even if it's after he's home, he's going to appreciate, how much peace came from not having that damn phone right there. It was very hard. This is from a friend. It was very hard for Don on the trip to court. Before getting there, Don was singing a song, adding the word Lord to a Donnie Marie Osmond song. I'm leaving it all up to you, Lord. I think so, Fizzle. I don't know. I you know what? When I found out I'll be honest with you. I found out dude was gonna take the ride. I found out he was taking the ride, and I took a nap. I was like, man, shit, I'm not dealing with this shit right now. I'm gonna take me a nap. I had a headache. I told Fizzle, I'm like, man, I got me a headache, man, from this shit. So I was gonna run Omar St. Hill tonight, but it's just a lot of stuff I had to unpack here. That unfortunately Omar's people are they're an hour ahead. So by the time I got done with this, I knew that so we're just gonna fire up Omar's case tomorrow, and it'll be what's up. I will tell you this. I was very impressed with Chasing Truth's reaction time to reporting this news. She actually got the news about I would say about literally 8, 9 minutes, not a whole 10, but she was already online talking about 11 months and 29 days. And I want to tell Chasing right now that there were a lot of reports that were coming out, and I want to applaud you on your investigative line of, your investigative network, because you were spot on with the time and everything else, and there was a lot of people that weren't spot on with the time, and you nailed it. So, Chasing Truth is badass even in Tennessee. So, it is what it is. Please, I hope all of you do not become strangers when I'm dealing with this Omar St. Hill stuff. This stuff needs the same awareness as everything else. Just because I'm going to be working on Omar stuff doesn't mean that I've given up on Summer or any of that. Right? What I'm trying to create is a scenario, and I'm hopeful that this was kind of the plan, was that I was hopeful that myself, John Crimes, Fizzle, a couple of the other girls would want to piggyback this case, and then ultimately my fantasy for Omar's family is that maybe Duty Ron could lean on the scenario a little bit, and maybe I don't even know what to ask for when I pray. But when I had a fantasy, I heard Long Island. I already knew about the systemic issues in Long Island, in the Long Island civic government. But then I automatically thought of Duty Ron too. So that's not to say that Duty Ron could have any influence, but I know that he has an influence, and he's in New York. So I certainly hope that my fantasy can come true for Omar and his family. There you go. Hawkins County Jail inmate search, and it pulls up commissary. Add money there. Thank you, Becky. There you go. There will be a pretty heavy fee associated to put money on that. I hate to tell you that. It's just the reality of it, as well as the phone card situation. Definitely interesting Long Island case that been missing 2 years. Dang, yeah. It's a really strange environment in Long Island right now, coming off of the complete restructuring from everything from DAs and prosecutors to chief of police and everything in between, like the city spokesman, like just on and on and on. Big money, or big problems with Long Island civic government. And it involves, it all was exposed during the Long Island serial killer case, which is active and ongoing. If you would like to get a glimpse into the Long Island civic government, the documentary that I would ask you to look at is called The Killing Season. It is directed by Joshua Zeman, Zeman. In fact, I do believe John Kelly, the profiler, is featured in that film, as well as Mike King from Profiling Evil. So a couple of our fellow people are in the film, but you really get a really deep look at the Long Island civic government. And if you're interested in Omar's case coming up, it would be very, very important to get the contextual information about Long Island civic government right now. You wouldn't even have to watch the film. You could just Google Long Island police chief fired. You could just Google Long Island City Police, the Long Island Police Department, serial killer information, so on and so forth. So know how much alcohol Don consume in a day? Obviously, there's concerns for DTs. Yeah, I don't know. I know that throughout the course of things that Don could go many days without drinking. So I want to believe, for his sake, that there won't be that issue. Trying to, that'll just sort of smooth out all on its own. But I don't know definitively. Got a couple of things that came in. Will he be able to write his supporters for moral support? I do believe so, and you'll be able to write him as well. I don't know about the picture scenario. A lot of times, in different scenarios, there's a hold on allowing you to get pictures. I know that's that way in the feds for sure. And it's kind of that way in certain tanks in Dallas County too. So I'm sure he's going to want pictures of his life, his wife, his kids, his daughter, his friends. So that's certainly something to. Oh yeah, all letters will be read. Absolutely. Don't know that they're going to give Librium. They typically do not give anything that's a diazepine or whatever. The Librium is a diazepine. So you're in Dallas County, Shawnee Henry. Don is imprisoned on a parole violation. He's taking the DUI to trial. So no, this was only a preliminary, it was a prelim. It was to find out if he was going to take it to trial. So he's seen relatively no action for the DUI. This was probation. And yeah, it's not prison. It's county jail. So let's see. The Summer Wells site will be sharing other missing children in some form from now on, starting very soon. It won't just be a place to come look at information about Summer. That we will be listing other missing children there. So that's a beautiful thing. Don wants Summer's attention to better benefit other children's families as well. So that's a beautiful thing. We just need to get Don straightened out, right? He can come home and he can pick up where he left off. Keep a licking and keep on ticking. Man. No, he can't smoke in there. Yeah. So big changes coming, right? I mean, God is divine and perfect every time, right? God is infinity and O. He's never lost a fight. Porch gang, 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 gang. Scott for president. Man, I heard you turned into the fish tamer looking, I can't do that to her. I heard you turned into I didn't even hear. I've been watching you grow these fishes. Man, I'm thinking next thing, if this YouTube don't straighten out, you're going to be holding illicit fish fights on the side. Don will be okay. Absolutely. Yeah, man, I'm not into it, but I tell you what, man, aggressive ass fish are interesting as hell. You have turned, now I won't call you a lunatic, but you are the fish whisperer. I'm like, man, don't she know them betas can be dangerous looking at? You can't put nothing in there with them betas. They just pop, 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 pop. Pay me $50 for each fish fight. You can get one of those little plastic things that hang, and you can say, okay, who's your money on? Purple, blue, ghost? Yeah, no, I've been watching them swim around. They're like, oh, man, you got some real betas. You went in the fish store, and you're like, I don't want alpha betas. I want betas. Yeah, I see you feeding them the brine by hand. Yeah, old Mama Tracy looking ass. She is going to care for anything. I have a Chihuahua, and they are land piranhas. I got land piranhas too. Look, I went and bought a dozen donuts, brought them home. My son had one. We went outside to play tag. Came back. The dogs got every fucking one of them. And then we went to get McDonald's for lunch because he was upset about the donuts. We got a 6-piece, all the good shit. He has 3, and he wants to go back out and play chase or tag. Came back in, fucking dogs got him. Oh, shit. He can have letters but no visitors. That's per Candace. So, I also, a lot of these county jails now, with their telephone, their kiosk system has turned to, with relatively, no ease, or a very little effort, rather. They've turned into video calls with all the technology now. So a lot of county jails, when you call, it's a video chat. So, there's a very real possibility at some point that, we would still get to say hello to Don or whatever. So, but anyways, yeah, I know. If you guys didn't see that, Chasing's husband told, because they have a saltwater tank and a so Scott for president, he told Chasing, he's like, you need to train your clownfish how to go into the anemone because they don't have an anemone. I'm guessing Chasing wants to get an anemone. So they wouldn't know what to do unless Scott had Chasing train these fish. Our God bless his heart. Chasing. Hey, Chasing, this is the deal. It doesn't work unless to the channel that shows the anemone. You got to start a channel for these fish. Don't you know how big it will? Hey, Chasing Scott for president. Scott the fish whisperer. No, Scott's like, you know what? I really like to look at fish. I just want to make Tracy take care of them. It worked though. I can't wait to see him go in and out of an anemone. That would be super cool. I was mad as hell over it too. Hell yeah, Chasing's on the other side looking at her phone for notifications with the fish. Hey, I don't have a problem with Russians, but I got a problem with that Russian porn. Like, don't do that. Don't do that again, ever. You looking ass. Look here, I stalk you, Mom. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta make sure I know what you're doing every single morning. I don't come in there and voice no opinions. I watch because I'm like, I'm really to the point now where Chasing has been at. It's like, there's certain times where you might be really tied into what you got going on, and then somebody comes in and just as much as saying hello can really upset the whole balance of what you have going on, and so I'm really starting to realize that the way that the chat looks is a direct representation on a creator, and I want my channel to look like hers. I want to go to fucking Crime Con too one day. I want to be taken seriously enough I can go to Crime Con. I want to bump into Gray Hughes and Chasing Truth at Crime Con and be like, hey, what's up, dog? Right? Like that's now like a new goal of mine, right? I want to be invited to Crime Con. Not that I ever think I'll be good enough to do that, but yeah. Oh, I do want to mention. Yeah, Candace is not begging for anything. Ziggy is completely fucking lying right now. So, enough about that. But anyways, there's going to be enough stuff going on here online. I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Remember, I love all of you individually, even Mark Trom and RapView. Thank you for coming by and spending this precious time with us, Chasing. Thank you, Fizzle. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. Did you catch that? Thank you for keeping me straight. Thank you, Mr. Sandman. Thank you, Mrs. Bradford. Hold on. I love all of you individually. Remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. If you see somebody tearing somebody a new orifice, say not today, looking ass. I love all of you. All of you. Thank you so much. You too, killer. Love you, ladies. Bye-bye, Miss Jason.